Hello, everyone. I'm just getting cleaned up here. We'll see who's on tonight. I don't think this is going to be as robust an update as last week because there's a lot going on, but we'll see who's around. I think I came on just a few seconds early, so we'll see. Hey, Nadia. Hey, Anna Lee. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. This ridiculous background. Although I think the background's actually in mirror image. The whole thing is a mirror image. Let me see if I can switch that. Nah, it doesn't matter. Marby, good to see you early this time. Hello, hello, hello. We'll see where we can start this week. Yeah, I got a bunch going on because I have a big event Saturday night. I do those left, right, center tournaments, so I'm prepping for that. Yeah, I think I use this background because I have a folder just called Winter Backgrounds for when we used to joke around all the time when we used to have those backgrounds of me in people's apartments and all those funky ones. Spot the tiger. I think he's still in there somewhere. I'll have to bring him back one of these days. So anyway, I hope everyone's doing okay out there. I don't know who's going to be around tonight, but that's fine. We'll keep it short and sweet. So yeah, I've got left, right, center on Saturday night, and it sold out days ago. So the capacity is like 220, and that's basically where I'm at, which is great. This is always our biggest event. So it's gonna be a big night on Saturday, which is really good. So it's a good fundraiser, good for the bridge too. So the tricky part is the floor plan because there are two levels to the to this function room at the Elks that we do these tournaments from. Actually, almost all my events are there. The upper level is closest to the entrance and bathrooms that are out in the hallway and the bar, and it's a little quieter. Then you go down 3 steps and there's a larger lower level where most of the tables are, and that's where the DJ is, and things are a little crazier down there. So it's hard trying to place people in certain spots because most folks buy entire tables of 10. Some want 11, some only have 9. There's a bunch of individual tickets, and you don't know if they're a bunch of friends hoping to play with each other. You can never figure that out. So I just try to mix and match and make it as smooth as possible. So when people arrive, they basically check in like a restaurant reservation. It gets tricky then because some people, like one friend will buy for the whole group, but the credit card is in like the person's maiden name or a married name. And then people come in like, oh no, we're with, Jill Smith. And they're like, well, wait, you mean Jill Jones? We're like, no, this all says Jill Smith. Like, well, we're with Jill Jones. Like, so that happens. So we open the doors at 6. The tournament starts at 11. But from like 6 to 6:45, it's like mayhem. Really until 7. And then once the games start, it's smooth sailing. So it's pretty hectic. Then we just had a local pizza place. They did this last year too. They're going to donate a pizza for every single table in there, which means they're going to have at least 22 pizzas. They're going to show up, which is awesome. I haven't even told folks that because what I do now is I have to keep my eye on the Bridge Cape Ann online store where people buy their spots. You don't get physical tickets. It's like you make a reservation there. And I keep an eye because there's a lot of like people are just like literally right now, hey Corey, my sister has a friend who wants to get in. Can you put her at our table? Or are there any spots left? Or can I buy all my spots on Friday? And that gets tough because if someone randomly showed up right now and just bought 10 more spots, it screws everything up. So I have to mind the store. And then when I hear someone say, hey, I need to buy one more ticket, I'm like, okay, there's 0 in there. You got to let me know the second you want to buy so I can go in and put in 1 ticket for you. So I'm in that stretch right now. But whatever. I'm just psyched that it's sold out and there's something to look forward to there. So anyway, so that's coming up, and that's my favorite bridge event, and this is the big one in January too, which is great. And then we do it again at the end of February, and then I think towards the end of March as well. So the way the calendar falls, I think the first Saturday in February is the 7th, I think, this year. Right, so Valentine's Day is a Saturday. So I usually like to have them in the middle of each month. I think a month is like decent enough time for folks to like get the itch to play again. But we're doing this on the 17th, and then we don't play for another, I think, 5 weeks or so, something like that, because that first Saturday in February is the 7th, which is too soon. Then the next Saturday is Valentine's Day, and the one after that's the 21st, and that is school vacation week here, winter vacation, Valentine's Day through the 21st. And that's always weird because if we have parents in there, they're usually away with the kids, whether they're skiing or doing whatever. Disney, who knows. So then I moved it to the 28th. And so that's when we're going to do the next one. And also, I'm actually going to be in Vegas the weekend of the 21st now. So there's that. And then there's only 3 weeks before our last tournament, March 21st, which is a Saturday too. So that's the one that I worry about. But this should be a big one. This is going to be the biggest one. And then we should have a decent one in February and then the March one. What would save me in March, actually, which would, because I always sweat out ticket sales, because you need to have so many people to even have a turn. Like, we need to have at least 120 or so. And we would, but, you always want closer to 200. But if we had, like, a lousy March winter-wise, and there was a big storm where people were digging out, and then they had the itch to get out of the house by the time the 21st came, that's always really good for my events, too. So anyway, we'll see what's going on with that. So that's my world right now. The good Dr. Lockwood actually had a little medical procedure yesterday. She's fine, but she's recuperating and upstairs resting right now, or else she would pop on and say hi tonight. So that's the latest with her. We want to thank everyone who watched the, there's Thankful, hello, who watched the podcast last week. It was a nice one, and we know they're not really, I guess, it doesn't really seem built for YouTube the way it is built for local Facebook. But it's nice to do and kind of gets our sea legs wet as far as figuring out, studio shows. So the podcast was really good, very smooth this time around. The broadcast was really good. We were on Facebook and YouTube. But to give you an idea, I don't even know if, like, let's say a couple hundred people watch the video on YouTube in real time, but it's like 2,000 people watch it on the local animal shelters page, and then maybe somewhere close to 1,000 watch it on my Facebook page. And really, the animal shelters Facebook page is where we want to concentrate, because that's where people are who know the shelter well, have had pets from there before, still, or do now. And obviously it's just hyper local, so word travels fast. So we showed off a dog and then a cat last week, and the dog, Isabel, I believe, already got adopted, which was awesome too. That was only a couple days after we did the show, so that was nice. The cat, I don't know what, the cat's a 10-year-old cat. They waived the adoption fees, so we'll see what happens there. But obviously we're not doing a show tomorrow. We do it every other week, so we'll be back next Thursday with Cape and Animal Aid. I know they have a slew of like these really cute retriever lab mixes that all seem like from the same litter. So we'll see if it's them, or if we have this one dog, Anita, who we showed a couple months ago, maybe like 4 to 6 weeks ago. But she's been in a foster home for 2 or 3 weeks and is doing really well. But if they want to bring her back to show her, unless she ends up getting adopted from this family, we'll see. So anyway, that's the latest for the podcast. That's gone really well as well. I have been testing other equipment too. So I can, one is go live on both channels at the same time on my own when I do things like this, or really like a side-by-side kind of thing. So that's going pretty well so far. What else is going on? I might be with Andrew, one of my tech guys, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, which would be helpful. Today, I told you guys this last week, but oh yeah, Annalise wondering when Christian is. Yeah, so Christian celebrated his birthday yesterday, maybe. I wasn't around. I think I got to him maybe late that night or something, and I didn't hear from him today. So I assume he's probably celebrating for the. This could be the month of Christian, for all I know, because he does enjoy his birthday. So if he's watching this afterwards, happy birthday! I did drop you a note online, a quick one, because of the stuff that was going on that I just mentioned. So what else has happened with the studio stuff? We might be doing something tomorrow. We know we're on for Animal Aid next Thursday. I'll see if I sneak something in the meantime. Oh, what I was supposed to do today with a friend of mine who owns a local newspaper is we were going to do a story on this woman, Elisa Vanelli, who's a sculptor. And I tell you about these tidal sculptures he's doing. Basically, like kind of like mermaid sculptures that literally are mounted um, in rocks in the ocean, and as the tide rises and falls, it's revealed or hidden, which is a really cool project. I think it's through a nonprofit. She's got some grant money for that. There's a documentary being done about it. So I was going to go and do a little story with her this afternoon with the newspaper, and of course me do my video thing. Um, but her daughter got the flu, and then now she's testing for COVID, so they're all incubating, and so we pushed that to next Wednesday. So hopefully we have a cool little video for you. I doubt that would be live because we might try some different equipment there to do some things differently. But it'd be a nice little piece to share at some point too. You know, a little different from a standard bridge video where I'm just talking to a shop owner or talking about a local event. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, that's coming up. I am still working on 3 timelines right now. The same ones I've been telling you about. I'm also prepping because I have at least one speaking engagement next week for the Blizzard of 78 screening at the new local library, or the newly refurbished local library. So that's all happening next week as well. Yeah, so that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I have the sculptor story, the Animal Aid, and then the timeline event, which is all cool. Plus, I'm starting to book in some meetings around these 3 timelines to chat with people that I need for images and info and to get my my facts straight. So that's all coming to a head, which is all good, all manageable. It's all fun. But also, while all this was going on, is my Jeep ended up needing work. I needed 4 tires for my car and some work there. So it's been at the shop for 4 or 5 days now. So I borrowed my mom's car, but I've also just been busy doing the left, right, center prep. Give me 1 second, excuse me. So I got to go grab that tomorrow too, amongst all the other junk. And then there's little things I do to get ready for left, right, center. Like we need petty cash. I make placards and table numbers for everybody. So I make a list for check-in list. So my buddy Rob is at the door checking everybody in because it's bananas. Basically, 200 people show up at once and don't know where to go. And we tried a few different ways to make it easier for folks, but you can throw all the plans out the window for when the night actually hits. But the weather's going to be good, which is great for us, and it should be a fun one. Another cool thing happening here this winter. I don't know if this matters to any of you or not, but if you're football fans at all, so our team obviously is the Patriots, and they're good again after not being good for 4 or 5 years. And that usually, if they're making a bid to play in the Super Bowl, the playoffs last January and into February. People tend to stay around town and not do the vacation thing. They don't want to miss them. When they had Tom Brady back at their height, when they were just like always in the Super Bowl and winning, you saw how people literally changed, like regionally, that people changed their schedules around Patriots games. So realtors wouldn't have open houses Sundays. Sundays are 1 o'clock, usually when the games were around here. People would move birthday parties, like for the kids, like Saturdays, or they would move everything. Got shifted because of the Pats, and that's starting to happen again. And that's also good news for left, right, center. When I originally started doing these 10 or so years ago, the date that I would always reserve would be the week before the Super Bowl. Because what happens the way football playoffs go is all the teams, they do the playoffs and you're down to your final 2, and then they take a week off before the Super Bowl happens. So I would take that week off. They call it a bye week, and I would always reserve that date. Because usually the Patriots are in it. No one was going to go travel. They were all going to be in or at a house party for the Super Bowl. So that night was going to be the one day they could go out with friends and, be out of the house and make a big night out of it. So that's not happening this year. This is a big one. And then, of course, just the way the calendar works. I can't sneak that Saturday in before the Super Bowl this year. But whatever. We'll see. And, by the way, since we're talking about winter stuff, too, It's still been a decent winter here too. We've only had snow, really cumulative snow, on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and that was the kind of stuff that you could sweep away with a broom or a leaf blower, which is what I did. So we've been lucky there. It's been pretty mild here too. It's going to start getting cold again, but we haven't had a shovel yet. Now, normally the way winter works here, it's kind of like by the end of January into March is that's a sweet spot. Usually December, January, it's pretty decent around here. It's not a big deal. In fact, I was picking stuff out of the garden. I think definitely the first week of December. I took the last of the kale out. So anyway, there is that. That's pretty much it in my world right now. I don't know what's going on in your neck of the woods. But that's all I have going on at the moment. What I would love to do, and I keep saying I want to do this downstairs and on both outlets at the same time. I think it'd be good to get the this left, right, center thing out of the way, because I'll be hunkered down to work on some timeline scripts, which is what I'm going to do after this, as a matter of fact. But I want to start doing that now. And if my buddy Andrew comes tomorrow, we're going to figure out when we can start doing interview shows. In fact, I'm actually talking to someone tomorrow morning at 10 about an interview show, because she represents an author who also runs a financial services company. And we talked about doing an interview with him. So that could be coming up sooner than later, which is nice. And then once that thing is turnkey, then everything kind of starts happening. I already have some guests lined up, as a matter of fact. So there is that. And I think that's about it for now. So, like I said, if anything comes up along the way, I'll let you all know. You would know if I think some of you are so alert especially when I'm on Facebook Live, that you usually hop on once I click, even though we're sort of used to this Wednesday's a 7 time slot. So a couple of you would have an idea if we were testing things live. To me, the bigger thing is doing the live simulcast with the Facebook audience. Because that's when I'll start doing the actual explanations of what exactly I've been up to and what's going on here too. And I would like to do that from downstairs. So anyway, I think that's about it for now. So you know the schedule, right? I would say there's a small chance that I would pop on live for a bit Saturday during the event. I always used to do it on Facebook when we had these early tournaments. We would actually record like the last hour of the night. I would be live showing our final tables. And that got pretty wild, which is why I stopped doing that, as a matter of fact, just to keep people out of trouble. So, but it is a possibility, because so many organizations around the country and in Canada have asked me over the years how to run a left, right, center tournament, because it's a really smooth operation. I found ways to make it really efficient and add fun elements that are a very light lift, and everybody wins. And it's easily my favorite event I've ever done with the bridge, and it's why I keep doing them. I wish I could do one once a month if the tickets sold for that. But we're kind of at the mercy of the Elks schedule, and it's a really nice venue. They're always doing wedding parties and bridal showers and things of that nature, Chamber of Commerce events. So I can only get a few Saturdays, and when we get them, we jump on them. So anyway, we've even done them in the summertime. It's a smaller crowd for sure, but if a wedding falls through last minute, we try to do something quick for them. But these ones, January, February, March, me likey. So I can't wait for that. So otherwise, I guess we'll be back this time next week. I can tell you how that Elisa Vanelli shoot goes, and then we can prepare for the podcast the following day, which I imagine will be live again, because that's been going much, much easier nowadays. And I think that's it. I mean, I just have timeline stuff going on. I have that Blizzard of 78 piece. Maybe we watch that again together, but it's not that big of a deal. And I'm not positive when the first of my 3 that I'm working on now will actually come out. I have to, let me see. The skate club on the rink thing, which is the one I wish I could get going, I think that's actually going to be last. I'm going to meet with the author of that double murder mystery book maybe within 2 weeks. And Hammond Castle, maybe early next week. That's the ball's kind of in their court for that. but I have enough stuff to start scripts and take notes for everybody. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing them all at once. You know, just a holiday break and the craze of what's going on at the rink right now because they have a skating club. There are 2 high schools that play there, Gloucester and Rockport. It's at the junior high school, the middle school, really. So, and they have a team. There's club sports, men's leagues, women's leagues, all that's going on there. Well, plus public skating too. It's a public rink, so it's hard pinning them down this time of year. But I have carte blanche to that rink. They've said come back anytime, ride the Zamboni, get a drone going on in there, talk to people. So I've been kind of pecking away at that stuff here and there, which has been nice. So I can't wait to share those with you too. But really, I want to just be getting, you know, starting to do some of these interview shows so we can get your feedback on that and see who you'd like me to talk to and have some fun with, and maybe try some things at different times of the day. Another thing I would actually love to get feedback on is, does it matter if something is live or recorded on this channel? You know, I mean, you know me, I like the live vibe and doing this all the time. But we're going to have some content that's going to be recorded for sure. And then maybe premiere that stuff in prime time. I don't know. We'll see what happens there too, because we'd like to be simulcasting that on Facebook as well. And that may change the game for us a little bit. So anyway, that's it. So I want to thank my wrenches for being in here tonight, and Marby as well. I know it's a small crowd and a quick hello, but I appreciate your time as always. That's the latest. So it should be some fun stuff. This Elisa Vanelli. I'll even drop in a link so you guys can watch a trailer or something next week and learn a little bit more about it, because it's a really cool story. She's super talented. The project's really cool. The footage I saw was nice. She's awesome. So that'd be a nice story to share with everybody. So anyway, okay, Annalie, thanks for that. Yeah, it's all good. I see all the comments afterwards anyway too. So yeah, thanks for filling me in on that stuff. So that's the latest. I'll stay in touch. In the meantime, I'm going to go finish up the newsletter and get into some script stuff. And then, like I said, next week is a good one. Sculptor video, a new podcast. We'll see what's up with or maybe our first interview show too. And that's it. So we'll let this family behind me skate. There you go. Yeah, live stream or record. Yeah, either way. Either way. And then, I don't know if I kind of alluded to this last week, but working with his local newspaper and with Andrew and Matt, my tech guys, we're kind of loosely working on some sort of confederation of content creation and having stuff on our channels together. So we've been working that stuff out as well. So anyway, thanks for your time as always. I miss chatting with you guys, so it's always good catching up. Wish me luck this weekend. It's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. And then we will see you on the other side and start having some winter 2026 fun. So anyway, until next time, adios for now.